What's up YouTube, it's Paul Radiker. I did a poll on Twitter asking who would actually be interested in a video describing what's on my iPhone X, and to my surprise a lot of you actually said you'd be interested. So that is what I'm going to show you guys today. By the way, if you're not already following me on Twitter, my handle is Paul Radiker, no spaces, and you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram with that same name as well. Alright, so I'm going to start off with what's on the outside of my phone. I have the Spigen Thin-Fit case, really thin. Got it for about $10 on Amazon, pretty cheap. It does not cover the bottom of the phone too well, nor does it cover the top, as you can see here. But it does do a pretty good job protecting with drops. I mean, it's not the best, of course. It's not really meant for protecting your phone from all drops. But I rarely drop my phone anyway, so I don't think that's going to be a huge deal for me. Yeah, I mean, I've dropped this phone a few times, like on hard floors and stuff in the house, but nothing really too bad, and it looks just fine. Link for the case will be in the description below. I don't actually use almost any of the apps on here. Most of them are just apps that I have on here in case I ever need to use them. You know, for example, I know I have a Taco Bell app, but I very rarely actually go to Taco Bell. So, you know, I have a lot of apps that I have on there just in case I ever need to use them. So I'm only going to go over the apps that I actually use. Ones that are useful to me. I'm just going to skip past the apps that you would either already know about, such as the Messages app, or just ones that I don't really ever use. Alright, so first off, we got the iHome Control app. I primarily use this app just for controlling my fan and my lamp in my bedroom. So like if I tap on fan here, it turns on the fan, as you can hear. If I tap it again, it turns it off. And then if I tap the lamp button, turns on my lamp. You can't really see it. Alright, so next on the list we got the SwitchMate app. Now I have a SwitchMate connected to my light switch in my bedroom. And that's mainly because I have an LED array set up instead of a light bulb for my main light in my room. So can't really just, stick a smart light bulb on there because, it doesn't use a light bulb to light the room. So what I did is I'm just using a SwitchMate on the light switch. It's not permanent. I'm probably going to do something else someday. But for now, that's the best thing I can do. Basically what the SwitchMate does is that it magnetically attaches to the light switch, and then you press a button on it and it will turn the light on or off. You can also control it via Bluetooth from your smartphone using an app that you get off the App Store. It works on Android as well. It's also pretty cheap and easy to set up. I think it's like $30 or something like that. It's not the best. I do really wish I could control it from Apple HomeKit, and you can't use Siri to control it. There's apparently a way to make Google Assistant control it, but I can't figure that out. Tell SwitchMate to turn my light off.
Alright, getting SwitchMate.
Light turned off.
And then nothing. That never works. I don't know why it does that. I tell it to turn the light off or on, and then it'll do nothing. It'll just remain on. So I don't know what's up with that. But the good thing is it does work from the smartphone app. So you can still control it remotely. It might not be the most convenient option, but it works. I can just turn the light on or off using the SwitchMate app. You can kind of hear it too. It's a little bit loud. Alright, so next we have Google Home. You probably already know how this works if you've ever used a Google Cast device or a Google Home before. So I have my list of devices here. The one we have in the kitchen, the living room, the Google Home I have in my bedroom, all that stuff. This is mainly just for all my Google Cast related stuff and for setting up new Google Home devices when I get them. Next, we got the Google Assistant app. You guys probably know what this is too. It's, if I were to ask the Google Assistant something, because Siri kind of sucks. Alright, so next, Honeywell thermostat. So yeah, we have a Honeywell thermostat in our house, and this is the main app to control it. I did set up something on my Raspberry Pi that lets me control it from HomeKit here. So I can control it that way when I'm at home, because that only works locally. Or if I'm away from the house, I can just use the official app that comes with it, because that works over the cloud. And the next one, If This Then That. You probably have heard of this app at one point or another. It's a very popular app. It's mainly used for a lot of automation stuff. Like you can have it so that if the temperature is at so-and-so, then it will do something with another device or service. It's pretty useful. I have a few applets on there that I have running at all times. For example, I have it so that when I post something on Instagram, it will automatically post that photo onto Twitter with a native photo and not just like a link to the photo on Instagram. That's super useful, by the way. I love that because I hate how Instagram, when you post a photo and then you use the built-in tool to have it also post on Twitter, it's just a link. So I use that applet on If This and That so that when I post a photo on Instagram, it's going to be native on Twitter when it gets posted on there too. That's all of the home apps that I have in the folder on my first screen to be easy to access. All right, next we got Google Allo. I'm not going to open that one up because I have conversations that are going to show up if I do that. Basically, I just use that one for all my group chats. I can send photos. It's like iMessage for Android, basically. Like all my Android friends who don't have iMessage, I usually will message them on either there or Facebook Messenger. That's why those two are on the first page of my apps. All right, so next we got Google Duo. This one is for video chatting. So yeah, I can just tap one of these contacts here, or I can go into contacts. But yeah, you can video chat in here. The quality is pretty good from my experience using it. It's basically FaceTime for Android, except the nice thing is they also have an iOS app, so it's not restricted to a certain OS like FaceTime is. Alright, so moving right along here, I'm going to skip through a lot of these because a lot of the next ones on my page I don't use that much, or you guys already know what it is. Alright, so this one here, this is a VPN app. I actually have a subscription to this. It's called KeepSafe VPN. I will often use this if I'm on a hotel Wi-Fi network, or I'm at like a restaurant, they have a hotspot, and I don't want to use my wireless data. So when I'm on their Wi-Fi, I can just turn this thing on, and it's going to secure my connection. So, basically if there are any hackers on the network or any of that stuff, they won't be able to see my device on the network. Unfortunately, the KeepSafe VPN does not work on PCs. It's only for iPhone, in fact. Actually, it might be on Android too. I'm not sure about that. Might be, might not be, I don't know. But the nice thing about this VPN app is that it actually will automatically connect to the VPN whenever you connect to a network that it doesn't know about. I had that disabled. You can always manually connect to the VPN if you ever need to. That's usually what I do. But yeah, it's kind of a nifty app for anyone who is worried about having a secure connection all the time. Alright, so these are all my food apps. I'm not going to go through all of these, but a lot of these I don't even use. For example, Dunkin' Donuts. We don't have a Dunkin' Donuts anywhere near here. I mean, the nearest one is 20 minutes away, I think. So, again, these are just mostly here in case I ever do go to one of those places, because that does happen sometimes. Alright, we got the YouTube Studio app. This one is really useful. Basically, I can see all my stats for my videos and everything. That's just a way to see analytics without actually having to get on my computer and look at them that way. I can just look at them on the go on my phone. It's a pretty intuitive app. I like it. Alright, so next we got all my entertainment apps. I'm not going to go through all of these. I use Netflix and YouTube. That's about it. Alright, the next one that's kind of interesting is an app called Focus. Alright, so it's going to create 3D depth data no matter how you take it. If you do a portrait in the camera app, it still have the same data. So you can change the way the bokeh looks. It kind of simulates that depth of field effect that you would get with a DSLR camera like the one I have right here. But the nice thing is you can change all this stuff without having to grab a new lens. So that's pretty nice. And what's possibly one of my favorite features about this is that you can actually see a little 3D layer sort of thing rotate around it of how what kind of depth data it got from that photo. It's kind of cool just see how all of that 3D depth data that the camera app is getting when it takes those photos. Pretty neat. On to the next one. So I use GasBirdie pretty often. This is a big one for me. I always try to go to the gas station that has the cheapest gas if possible because let's face it, gas can be pretty expensive. Now, the next app that I use every so often, but not all that often, is an app called Light Meter. Basically, this app allows you to kind of get a feel for what kind of settings you're going to want for a video if you're taking it using a DSLR camera like this one. So, yeah, if I wanted to figure out, if I wanted to angle my camera this way, and I didn't really know quite what settings I wanted to set, I'd just specify 2 of the settings. Then it'll automatically choose one of them for me. So if I want to change the aperture, I can do that. And then basically, I enter the information about my lens, such as the maximum aperture and stuff like that. And it will it'll just kind of give me an idea of what kind of settings I would want set. Of course, it's not perfect, but it does help sometimes when you're not really quite sure what kind of settings you want to have set. I shoot in manual almost all of the time, so I mean, for me, this is pretty great. It does help me get an idea of what kind of settings I should have. So, right now I have it setting the ISO for me automatically, and See, this is good because I actually do have it set to 400 ISO, which is pretty close to what this thing's saying I should have it set to. Of course, this is facing the opposite direction from where my camera is actually facing, so it's going to be a little bit different, but you guys get the idea. This is just kind of a short, quick video because there wasn't much to show off, but you guys were interested, so I made the video. Alright guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you're new here, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you are not doing that already. This is Parradiker, and I will see you in the next video.